So Alexandria occasionally coherent was back in the news. Listen again. This woman is a godsend. Now, if you're watching this clip of the podcast on YouTube, please make sure that you hit subscribe and hit like and hit share. And if you want to hear the entire episode of today's podcast on SoundCloud, on iTunes, on Libsyn, or whatever it is you want to, they're down in the links below. And if you want to support the show, so that I can get soundproofing and microphones and all the cool stuff that all the cool podcasters have, you can do that at PayPal.me/ArchAdvocate, PayPal.me/ArchAdvocate. Send your dough. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, occasionally coherent. She's a godsend of just like the litmus test that God has sent down to us to show you, like, this is how poisonous you are. This is how sick we have become as a nation. There was a time, not very long ago, where if somebody came up to you and announced themselves as congressperson, senator, former president of the United States, doctor, if somebody came up and introduced themselves to you that way, there would be an automatic place in your soul that would be reverent to that person. Because it's like, well, congresspeople and senators, they are running the most powerful, most successful, most blessed nation in the history of the world. And now what do we have? Again, listen to the whole episode. You people on YouTube, listen to the whole episode. The whole thing here is that we have asked for this. This is our doing. We forgot that it was our responsibility to hire good people. And what do we have now? We have Ilhan Omar, who very realistically is still in this country illegally because she married her brother to get citizenship into this country. If that turns out, and I pray, like, hey, Donald Trump Jr., can you please tell your dad? Hey, Ivanka, can you please tell your dad to hire somebody or to make somebody investigate this? Because if she did, in fact, marry her brother to get citizenship, then she would have had to have lied on her request for citizenship. That's against the law. And if you get found out for having done that, you get your citizenship revoked, and then you get deported back to Kenya with you, where we found you. Or maybe possibly back to Somalia, where the Kenyans found you. Either way, like, this is where we're at. We have a lady who is outspokenly living in a constant state of hatred of the United States. She hates this country. She hates what it stands for. She hates the Jews. She's just a hateful little person from Somalia that has a national IQ. Somalia has a national IQ of 68. 68 people. That's lower than the legal limit to get into the military, to even peel potatoes. 68 is lower than the world's smartest chimpanzee, Coco, who had an estimated IQ of somewhere between 70 and 95. The national IQ of Somalia is 68, and there is a Somalian in our Congress who hates America and probably married her brother. Now we have Alexandria occasionally coherent, who is sitting on the U.S. Congress. And why is she there? Well, it's because of all of her many years of experience of bartending and carrying taquitos out to the patron's table. This person is a U.S. congressperson, and she says the most incoherent. She was just on in that clip. She's talking about, well, if we commit to green jobs, and if we commit to renewable energies wholeheartedly, completely forsaken what's already there, fossil fuels and nuclear energy and all that other stuff. If we do that, she keeps using that word, it is inevitable. Well, see, here's the thing, though. When setting policy, you have to have a very structured roadmap. You can't just say, well, if we start down this road, it is just inevitable that, in 100 miles, it's still going to be paved. It's still going to be tended to by, in California, it's Caltrans that takes care of all that, or whatever it is, whatever Department of Transportation in your state. And when we get 100 miles out, it's still going to be paved. Man, don't you know? When we get 100 miles from now, it won't matter if there was a flash flood in the last 24 hours. It's going to be paved. Don't worry about it. It's like, no. When you're setting the course of the ship called America, you can't just use empty words like inevitable. Well, it's just inevitable that if we commit to this, there's going to be green jobs. It's inevitable. She says that over and over and over again. It's like, whoa. Now, what do you mean by inevitable? What do you mean by that? Are you saying it's guaranteed? Then how can you guarantee that? I'm all ears, but how can you possibly guarantee that? Where are you going to get the money? Who are going to be the scientists and researchers for all of your green energy and green jobs? Because as it stands right now, we're not very good at harvesting energy from the sun and from the wind and from the rivers and oceans. Or splitting atoms for that matter. Where are you going to get the money? Where's it going to come from? Who's going to be in charge of it? Oh, it's inevitable. Well, that's an empty word. And this is our fault. To whatever degree, we have to assume ownership in it because she, whether you like it or not, is a representation of the will of the American people. You say, oh no, she's not a representation of my will. Well, maybe not yours specifically, and certainly not mine, and certainly not, I don't know, anybody I've ever met except for Sam, who actually lives in her district and is a bedwetting liberal. You know what I mean? Like, certainly not my will, but the will of the collective, the will of the hive, if you will. She is a representation of the will of the people. You can't look away from that. It's like, like Donald Trump, he's your president whether you like it or not. He is a representation of the will of the people. And so was Barack Obama, who I hated and probably you hated. But no matter what, he won the presidency twice. He represented, during his time, he represented what the American people wanted. Again, you can sit there and be like, well, I didn't want him. Yeah, neither did I. But the collective did. Or maybe not if they... Boy, I think we're going to find out... I think we're about to find out some hard truths about this. But the reason why Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Alexandria and Ilhar and, Emmer Effer, lady that said she's going to impeach that Emmer Effer... These are the reason why they are in the seats that they're in is because of you and me. And we have to change. And we have to return back to the truth. To seek God out with repentant hearts. And call out to God and say, God, help me to repent. Because I can't even see where I need to turn anymore. I've never known any other way but the way that I've been doing it. Most of us. I'm 46 this year. I've never known a different America. I was born in 1973, right smack dab in the cocaine era of the 70s. You know what I mean? Like, in San Diego. You know what I mean? Like, I've never known an America that was very much different than the one we have today. So, repent, dear listener. This is our fault.